What's happening, ladies and gentlemen of League Zero, and welcome to the Plat Chat post-season press conference. There's a lot of P's in that, so we have quite a few members of the team here today. Going down the list, we have Nias, a former main tank, if I remember correctly, right?
That is correct.
Yeah.
Nias. Nias? Okay. You, the current main tank, Alpha Omega, Hitscan, Bob's, main support, there's so many roles, Brandon S, I don't remember
Backup,
what you play.
backup, main support.
Yeah,
just
he's
play
support.
support.
Okay,
Backup
okay.
main support.
Hold This W, their graphic designer,
Yes.
Yep.
Carl. Eagle Depop, their Flex DPS Maverick, their manager, Mistfire,
Flex DPS as well.
Okay. Vaporeon off tank, Zach T assistant manager, and Red Panda, also Flex DPS if I remember.
Yes.
Yep.
So we got a few questions for these guys. I'm gonna try and take them in mostly chronological order from like the beginning of the season towards the end. So with that, first question is coming from Anonymous. What was your plan coming out of the draft? Because obviously you guys had, I believe, the most bronzes that you picked up out of the draft. You had like one or two. You also picked up the absolute lowest player from the draft in terms of SR.
Yeah. So
Well-
because I was there at the draft, I can actually talk about this. So
Hey.
the plan post-draft was wait for free agency and try and coach up the lower-ranked players that we'd picked up, such as Marble Juice.
Marble.
I miss him so much. That man was grinding his heart out until he had to go. But yeah, we got sniped so much in the draft. We were like, okay, end it early, coach, and just play for free agency.
Interesting. Actually makes a lot more sense compared to like the earlier parts of your season. So
One of the big things that me and Vaporeon talked about earlier in the season when I picked him up as captain and we were still waiting for the draft to happen was we cared more about the emotional stability of someone or of our players than their SR, because you can train someone in the game to like for their decisions and how they play, but you can't train someone to not tilt. You can't train someone to be a good teammate. That comes with their predisposition. So we look more for that than SR.
well, I'd say it certainly worked for you guys in some regard. And actually, I think this is kind of already answered the way you answered the previous question. But Corbs also had a question saying, what sparked the change in your team after the 3-0 loss to Geometric, which I believe was like week 3?
Week 3, yeah.
Technically week 4. But, yeah. So what happened was at that time we were still VOD reviewing. Spoiler alert: we stopped VOD reviewing after the Rio game because we couldn't find anything good and we just focused on scrim coaching. Killer, one of our coaches, he was VOD reviewing with us, and he was so super insistent, and he was like, guys, you need a different main tank. You need an aggressive main tank. Look at this man's positioning. Because it was, we were VOD reviewing Lijiang Tower Control Center. We'd capped the point. Everyone was running forward to take aggressive positioning at choke. And Nias, I love you, man, but he was sat at point choke, and he wasn't going forward. So it's like, we need to get this down, and then from then, this was in Maverick's hands, because he negotiated the trade.
The art of the deal.
Yeah. Silver Tongue Sweetening himself.
I am quite proud of that trade.
I feel like... Oh,
I
sorry.
have no idea how Rio let such good players go.
I think it's entirely because they didn't look good in their hands.
Well, to answer the original question that was asked, like what sparked the change, we realized that with the majority of our players, we needed a change in tempo, like in-fight tempo. And Nias is a good player, and honestly, he plays a lot more like Mono from the Overwatch League. He plays very passive, waiting for enemies to make mistakes. But the rest of our team wants to play very aggressive in people's faces, and that can be seen when we added No You. He plays that same way, and since main tanks dictate playstyle, we needed someone more aggressive, so that is really what changed it. We needed a change in in-fight tempo.
Alright. And actually, while we're on that topic, you want to go more in depth on like how specifically the No You and the Bobs trade from Rio like affected the team almost immediately, or like over time, how that changed things within the team.
I think the players can take this one, because
Yeah, absolutely.
have fun with this one, guys.
Which one of us starts?
How
Not
about you?
me. I wasn't
Wait, what was-
playing for the
what was
rest
the
of the
question
season.
again?
Hey,
So we wanna
Miss,
go from
chill,
top down?
chill. Yeah, top down.
I don't remember the question.
How did the addition of No You and Bobs affect the team?
Yeah.
How did you change the team?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think we played more aggro.
That's
That's
it.
all really.
Good answer.
Okay. Alpha?
I honestly think that it came down to like, having someone that was more vocal, like more willing to be aggressive, like give our DPS space to kill people. Click heads. To you, if you want to say that.
Bob's?
You got anything to say on that, Bobs? We'll just go down the list. So when one
Great.
person's done, move to the next
Bob's is
person.
eating grapes. Bob's is eating.
I mean,
Bob's
well,
is
Oh
eating
no.
I'm not. I'm in fact not eating grapes. I mean,
Thank
I think kind of just we clicked better with Plat Chat than No United with Rio. I think we just were better pieces that fit on Plat Chat.
Brandon, you were on the team at the time
I
the
got
trade came
brought
in,
into the
so-
team a few days before that trade, so I didn't really know like the pre-change Plat Chat, but I could tell like this was like the start of like taking Wisdom to map 5, like kind of our turnaround of the season. Like I could feel that, I could tell that your changes, bringing No You and Bobs in, really changed the tempo of our entire team.
Eagle?
I mean, No Use Aggression really helped. It gave more space for the rest of the team to actually do what they wanted to do. And not only did Bob's mechanical ability on support help, but as much as I love Lordy, Bob's let us actually scrim more than once a week. And that was a really
Ow.
big deal.
I'd say that Lordy and Bob styles are very similar, but with like Lordy going to the hospital not long after we got Bob's, it ended up being that Bob started for us most of the time. Close to the end of the season, Lordy started implementing back into the roster on more specialized like Mercy or Baptiste, whereas Bob's was basically our Lucio bot,
Yeah.
Mr. Speed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Speaking of,
they
speaking
gave
of
us more flexibility.
Lordy,
I
yeah.
think.
Speaking of Lordy, he said, generally they brought confidence, they were out to win, they gelled fast, and really got our heads up again after the losses. That's a saying, like, new players can totally lift a struggling team, and it's totally mentality based. It helped that they also absolutely clap at the game too. Smile.
Yeah, I like how you skipped me there.
Oh, you said you didn't have a
I'm
mic.
back.
My God.
No,
Dubby,
we were on the topic of Lordy. Also,
is this the first time I've heard your voice?
No,
yeah.
we've heard it during Jackbox Nights.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Nah, it's for the last question about week 4. You see, I made the logo a little bit darker during week 4.
Yeah,
Oh
we,
yeah,
we wanted to be
about that.
darker, more edgy.
Punished
Yeah.
Plat Chat.
Okay.
That's clearly what made the difference.
Yeah, clearly.
It wasn't No You.
Oh, isn't it missed now?
If he was stuck, he
Yeah,
can.
yeah, missed. Okay, fine.
Okay, well, thinking about it now, I think the change of No You and Bob's on the lineup actually helps the team tremendously. I don't really have a whole lot I can say about it, but yeah, I just think No You was a really good main tank, and Bob's definitely played main support, even though he was a bit too reddity for my taste.
Yeah.
Overall, I think not only was like the change of tempo within the team what helped, but also the fresh faces and like the fun attitude that both No You and Bob's had within the team helped perk all of our spirits back up. Back when we were in like the gutter, basically. which led to our pretty solid showing in the latter half of the season. It also gave the rest of the team fun moments like Bob's eating grapes when he should be playing the game.
Block
Yep.
Sonic.
Block
Dang.
Sonic is also a very
Oh.
funny one.
We
Dang, now
have a
you're making
whole
me
list
hungry.
of quotes. We have a whole lot of quotes in the Plat Chat server for anyone that
Yeah.
wants to. It's a riot.
Her panda.
Dang, now I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get some
Oh wait,
grapes now.
panda.
No.
Run on the.
Yeah,
Team
I was
at that
gonna
point.
say,
Yeah,
I don't know
no.
what you expect me to say.
You came
I
in
mean,
like 8.
I came into a team that like really liked each other and had a good time, and I could definitely feel that like that No You was a big part of that, and like his memes and such. Like his positivity like really brought people together a lot of the time. So,
Yeah.
and I came into a
100%,
good team
yeah.
too. Like I.
Well,
Careful.
I mean, playing with your brother does help, doesn't it?
Ooh, that's spicy.
I am aware that Anju was pestering.
Oh, that was Dubby. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I am aware that Anju
was
was pestering Mav to trade for me from like literally day one. So
Yeah.
that was funny.
Basically.
But I'd say it was good for all parties involved. It helped everyone happy.
Yeah,
And that's
speaking
what this
of
league's
Anju,
about.
yeah. Speaking of Anju, Anju said, no, you gave us the main tank that fit the rest of our team's style of play. Bob's gave us the main support we needed when Lordy was unable to play due to his health issues. With Bob's, we didn't miss a beat on support, and no, you gave us the confidence to play the aggressive style we all were comfortable playing.
Alright. Moving on to the next major question I got for you guys. I think this is the one that everyone was expecting. So what exactly happened in the quarterfinals to cause Hyperflex's upset of you? I believe a reverse sweep, if
We
not.
hate Farah.
Yeah, it was a reverse sweep. They abused our weaknesses, and they played well. They played better than us in total. At least this is my opinion. Everyone else here is obviously more than allowed to talk. I'm just saying what I have to say, which is we started off very strong, but over the course of the match, they really started to realize what their own strengths were and our weaknesses, and they exploited them. They played well. They played better than us in the end.
Yeah, I give props to the coaches and the players for Hyperflex because they had scrimmed us like before our like last matchup against Wisdom, which I think was week 10, and they had pretty much run exclusively Pharmacy and basically
Technically
dumpstered
week
us.
12, but yes.
Yeah, they had like dumpstered us in scrims using Pharmacy. So just props to the players and coaches for identifying that, yeah, our Pharmacy was probably our biggest weakness this season. I think they played really well in quarterfinals. What happened is they found our weakness. We didn't really find their true weakness, and we just kind of got outplayed as the game went on.
I also
Yeah,
think
General
that
sentiment from Lordy and Anju was the team got into their own heads a bit as the series progressed.
yeah, I think that we were sort of behind on the meta, I guess, because we're kind of seeing a meta develop now, and we're not like too far after the playoffs where double shield beats brawl, and we were basically playing that losing matchup the entire game. And so honestly, like thinking back on it, I'm like, wow, we took the first 2 maps in that like really bad matchup because they were playing like the double shield and they were playing Pharah with it, which is a bit unusual as well.
Alucard really helped them stabilize and improve.
Yeah. I definitely agree that like people are just sort of out of it towards the end. I was definitely getting a feeling that there was a lot of burnout on the team, even going into our game against Wisdom, like week 10. And I think that loss like really took the wind out of our sails. And so we just didn't quite have that like mental fortitude to push through that match.
All right. Let's see. I do have one more team-specific question. I think you guys have sort of answered it in some ways, but I'll still ask it. So, like, obviously, you guys have Maverick, you have Vaporeon, Zach, and probably a few other coaches that you mentioned here and there. But, like, what is your specific management structure like? Because it seems like you have different people doing different things.
I'll let Mav handle this one, seeing as he's at the very top.
So at the very beginning of the season, I was basically the only person involved with the team aside from Vaporeon, who I
Oh,
brought
this
as captain.
story. I love this story.
Before I actually became the manager and I was in Interpugs, I actually met Zach in Interpugs, and we got along really well there. Then I brought on Bolter as our head coach early in the season. He had to leave because he got signed to Shanghai Sellouts. He was like, hey, I can't stay, but I know this other guy who could be pretty cool and helpful. And it turned out to be Zach, and I was immediately like, yes, bring him on. Anyway, to summarize before I go into like a full 10-minute story, the management structure goes kind of like myself at the very top, delegating to other people. I do show up to basically everything, or rather I did. And I help the team at a distant level because we have better people to help than me. So, but under me directly is Zach, who takes care of stuff on a more personal level. He'll help the players. He'll help set up scrims. Honestly, I got a lot of praise from a lot of administration and other managers this season. At least half of that goes to Zach. He did so much this season.
Yeah, I think past about I think like the run up to the game with Rio and then on, I think I was the one getting all of the scrims, trying to get coaches in.
Set up stuff between players and coaches. Yeah, he did a lot and he deserves a lot of praise for that. Then underneath Zach was Vaporeon and kind of also Anju.
Yeah, Vaporeon and Anju together. Yeah, Vaporeon and Anju together.
The Vaporeon's our official captain, but Anju was a co-captain within the realms of our team, who helped with a lot of stuff in turn. Then, but on that same level as captain, we have our multitude of coaches like Abraxas. We had Judes. We had Calyx. Calyx really stepped up near the end of the season since Abraxas had to go. Abraxas, Calyx, I love you both.
Yeah. Calyx hard carried once Abraxas had to step down as head coach. Like, oh my gosh. That man, sleeper. So sleeper.
And Event Horizon.
Event Horizon as well, prepping us for playoffs.
Event came on like 2 weeks before playoffs, and he was really helpful.
Yes, he was. I also wanted to say, I'm not sure how other teams handled this, but with me, if any of my players had any kind of like things they wanted to say directly, but they didn't want to say it themselves, I encouraged them to message me at any time, and I'd get back to them, and I'd try and help them with anything that was bothering them. So
that was a big thing for us this season. That was a big thing for us this season in terms of mentality. Like,
I wanted to make sure the players were taken care of mentally.
Even when we had the time slots, or like the availability to like grind the shit out of everything, we didn't want to do that because we didn't want to burn the players out and put them in a bad like mental space. We want to make sure health first and then gameplay second. Like, if you don't have happy players and players who are willing to work together, how do you expect to be a team?
Yeah, they're not going to win if you burn them out. But yeah, so in total, it goes me, then Zach, then our coaches and captains, then everyone else. But even not everyone else, there's still everyone's involved in the team. No one really had no say whatsoever. Everyone helped with running the team in at least some capacity.
All right. I do have some more general questions for you guys that I think will be a little bit more laid back, possibly more fun to answer.
So we're waiting for the one.
Oh god.
Yeah, I've been asking that one to all the novice ones, but I'll save that one for last. So, what did you guys do in particular for like team bonding exercises, if anything?
Jackbox.
Lots of Jackbox.
Jackbox.
I held a Jackbox night at the beginning of the season for all the novice people before, like the day before draft. But then
the instant classic.
But yeah, then we also ran a lot of Jackbox internally. We did internal scrims, like even during our internal scrims, because we had enough people for that. We also sometimes did like random crazy stuff. Like we ran internal goats scrims with everyone off-rolling. We ran like SCP lobbies. We did all sorts of stuff. We like hanging around each other. Like, I'm not sure about other teams. I'm fairly certain everyone likes each other at this point in the season, but I really tried to foster a friendly team environment, and I feel like a lot of us are not just like teammates now, but friends. So
100% agree with you there.
I think internals is where Golira came from.
Golira.
Golira. You can never forget about Golira.
Golira.
So yeah, there's that for the comments on YouTube. Golira.
Golira.
All right. So what would you say is like your biggest regret from this season? Could be something in game, out of game.
Playing May.
I disagree with that. Thank you very much.
I think it was a pretty good thing that y'all played May. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know as a Flex DPS, I don't like doing it, but
I'd say my biggest regret, if I had to pick one thing in particular, not taking. Okay, so I've said this before. A lot of people think that everyone on Plat Chat thought that Hyperflex was going to be like a super easy opponent in the quarterfinals. I never thought that. I'd say that they were a wild card. They may have been 5th seed, but they proved that they could tangle with some top contenders all season long. They picked maps off Wisdom. They're taking maps off One Trick. And
scrims too.
They were always good in scrims. They were our warm-up partners almost all season, aside from when we played. And they, I'd say my biggest regret was probably the trash talk. I've never been one for trash talk. I kind of let it get to me after our like 5-match win streak after our first Wisdom loss, and I was super cocky coming into our second Wisdom game. Our players weren't as much, but I was very, very excited to play Wisdom again. I wanted to be the first and only team to beat them, but it ended up not coming that way. And I kind of regret being as cocky as I was, if I'm being honest.
On the topic of the Wisdom game, I regret not being, like, I think my biggest regret was not being as active in the week leading up to the Wisdom game as I had been in previous weeks, because it meant that it delayed our preparations. So we didn't know what comps we were going to run against Wisdom until literally the day before. So we were going in, scrimming against, I think it was OTW, playing completely brand new comps, which threw the team off in that scrim, and then we didn't have a lot of time to get that mentality back before the Wisdom game.
yeah,
So-
and naturally they played the OTW comp, and we were playing new comps, so we weren't comfortable countering that with the new comps, and it kind of just tilted everybody because nobody wants to lose to Bastion ever.
Yeah. So I think, like, I wholly take responsibility for, like, the loss to Wisdom. Like, I think if I had actually been as active as I had been before, we would have been thoroughly prepped and could have gone to map 5 again and even pulled out the win.
I think my actual biggest regret was never really actually being able to show off as a DPS. I felt like I was always like considered by most people to be. I felt like I was always considered by most people to be like the worst flex DPS in Novice because I never really got to do what I do best.
Yeah,
I
that was
kind of feel the
with the
same
team.
way.
Yeah, our comm structure was weird because we had Eagle making almost all of the calls because No You was quiet, our backline was quiet besides Anju. Yeah, so Eagle was making all the calls and couldn't do his thing.
Interesting. Alright, so to finish this off, I have the question, the one last one that you all are expecting. I've been asking this to all the novice teams, so do you stand Know You?
Of course we do.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm the man.
Yes.
himself.
Yes.
I am.
Yeah,
I am,
Yes.
I am Mr. Know You
I mean-
himself.
It's hard to not stand him.
Okay.
In the
Know You.
flesh.
Know You.
What?
Do you stand yourself?
Sure.
That is the question. Okay.
Yeah, does
I
no
was
you
ex-
stand no you?
I was half
answers
expecting
from
him to
your
say
DPS.
no.
You do
Imagine-
stand us.
Just imagine no
Yes.
you with no stand.
Know You.
No, you with no stand.
So far, it's 2 for 5. So
Yeah.
Okay. Which 3 teams
Unlucky.
haven't stand Know You? I know.
Hyperflex definitely doesn't stand. Hyperflex.
No,
is
Hyperflex
salty.
didn't stand OT.
Hyperflex,
didn't stand no
OTW, and Wisdom. They're all like, no, what are you talking about? And
No,
Geometric was like,
no,
of course!
I know.
Yeah.
Hyperflex was salty in their press conference with
We've
Ash.
got double cap on our
Yeah.
side.
No, you don't feel bad because DC likes you. It's fine.
Yeah,
Also-
it's
also-
more of a
Talk.
DC likes you.
I know that we haven't always been on the best of terms, but shout out to Geo for standing No You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out.
They at least stand him.
Yeah.
I think there was like one
Um,
person on there who didn't.
Yeah.
Oh well,
so-
or
yeah.
No, it wasn't Corbs.
Still-
It was
still shout
No,
out,
good guy,
shout out to
Corbs.
it
Geo.
was like 4 or someone like that.
Yeah.
Of course, 4 doesn't stand no you because 4 is
Yeah.
stinky.
Or is stinky.
You do be stinky.
Yeah.
Anyways, do you
Brody
guys have any
says
closing
that- yeah.
statements?
Yeah. Brody says that he stands no you, but he prefers Charles Maverick Sweetenham.
Oh,
And Uncle says, F that, no you stands him. Without him, he would have died so much.
no, you is a
I mean-
feeder.
Is he wrong?
I mean, I couldn't really
It's-
I wouldn't have been able to really do anything.
It's not feeding if we feed with him.
Yeah, no, you.
Yeah.
That
Tactical
was like
aggression.
that was the
No,
game
strategy.
plan.
Tactical
No, if we
thing.
do it,
Tactical aggression.
if we do it with him, then it's called inting.
Yeah.
No, it's called teamwork. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
Of
we're-
course.
If the main tank tells you to jump
I
off the
don't
cliff and you
know.
go with him, it's
Okay,
not
okay.
feeding at that point. You're just
Let's
listening to
bring it
calls.
back. Bring it back.
Yeah.
Closing
Um,
statements top to bottom. Yeah, top to bottom.
Yeah, top to bottom. Go ahead, guys.
Any closing
Nice.
statements?
Wait,
You can just say pass if you don't have a closing statement. I guess.
Just final thoughts about Plat
yeah,
Chat?
pass.
Andrew is very poggers.
Alpha.
I deserved better. Or actually, no.
Hold on, we're going there. We're going there. What do you mean?
I meant
Alright.
in all-star voting. Also,
Oh,
justice for
okay.
no you and
Oh.
all-star voting. Justice for all
Okay.
for no you
Yeah,
and all-star
that
voting.
man got- that man got
I'm
robbed
less hurt now. I'm
from
less
main
hurt.
tank role. That
Okay,
man got robbed.
okay.
I have ideas for next season to make it less scuffed, but believe it or not, it was less scuffed than season 1's All Stars.
Okay.
Oh no.
Alright, Bobs,
No, I don't have any.
Brandon.
I love Plat Chat. All my homies love Plat Chat.
Oh god, putting inter memes in here.
Eagle.
Eagle.
Red Panda is better than me at everything that isn't Doomfist.
True.
Okay, I've got an
I-
actual closing statement, which is I'm very happy with my team. We may have been bumped out of quarters, but also want to say this real quick. Hyperflex wouldn't have been in quarters if I hadn't pushed for that, so you're welcome. Anyway,
Yeah. True.
anyway, outside of that, y'all still played well. No shade. But I'm very happy with the team I put together. Even the players who didn't play as much, like Mistfire and Jaguar, it's like the Nevik situation. Without y'all, our other players wouldn't have been as good as they were.
And Brandon.
Y'all
I
and
don't-
Brandon, yes, I'm sorry. Well, I remember Brandon
You're
playing in our.
Our
Yeah.
cheerleaders.
I
our-
love everyone on this team, and I'm looking forward to playing again with as many of you as I can, either next season in League Zero, in Flux Cup, or whatever comes next. And if I don't play with you again, I appreciate what you've given to me this season, and I hope you do well in whatever you do next.
Mistfire,
Okay,
you got any?
Mist.
Honestly, I don't really have a whole lot on my mind right now.
Okay, Vape.
I just wanted to say GG's to everyone.
Is that same for Go Lira, Go Lira?
I'm not going to be.
Lira.
I'm actually
Lira.
going to take this seriously. Jeez.
Okay, sorry.
No, I want to say GG's to everyone, especially to Geo. I fully expected you guys to lose, and I'm gonna be honest. But you guys managed to pull out the win, and I'll give you that.
You look really good.
Yeah, you guys looked really good. Oh shit, is that a spider jockey? Oh, sorry.
His name is playing Minecraft during our press.
I
You
look
guys team
forward.
have a Minecraft server.
I
Me
look
and Vaporeon's
forward-
team have a Minecraft
Yeah,
server together.
Speaking of our team, I look forward to future League Zero, even if I may not participate. But I especially look forward to Flux Cup as.
Lendes Pog.
Nope. Yeah. So I just wanted to say that and
Yeah. Panda.
keep gaming.
Oh geez. I mean, okay, so everyone knows I have plenty of criticism to levy at a lot of things that happened this season.
Don't go there. Don't go there.
I will
Can
not
one.
go there.
Dude,
I will just say that I don't care if Hyperflex made it farther than us in the playoffs. I am immensely happy that I ended up on this team. It was a huge improvement. I felt valued and listened to, and everybody on this team just gets along so well, and we genuinely had such a good time. And yes, I am better on everything than Iggle except Doomfist.
Okay.
and I wish I could have shown off my
That's why
echo
he's a
more.
manager and I'm not.
Alright.
Eagle is a do one trick.
I am.
Alright, is that everyone?
I do
Zach?
have a statement.
Yeah. Who?
Only 2 for trade, boys. 2 for 1 trade. Let's go.
2 for 1 trade. Let's go. 2 for 1 trade.
2 for 1 trade, let's go.
Is it really called a trade if it's just a scam?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Honestly, I didn't think I would get as involved with League Zero this season as I did, and I didn't realize just how much the team meant to me until I broke down crying for almost an hour after we lost to Hyperflex in the quarterfinals. You guys were all amazing this season. I can't imagine not having any one of you at some point this season. As an actual closing quote, fans of Doctor Who might remember this one. Everything ends, and it's always sad. But everything begins again too, and that's always happy. So be happy, and let me take care of the rest.